Call David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I just want to take a short call in regard to this bill, and the Westpac New Zealand bill, the second reading of this bill that's gone through the Select Committee, and members of the Select Committee have spoken earlier, and also we've transversed the issues in the first reading of this bill. Essentially, as speakers have said, it's about the transfer of assets so that Westpac can meet the regulatory obligations, being a branch that has, and the incorporation policy, which has some limits around the actual amount of funds in the excess of $15 billion that triggers certain requirements. And the Reserve Bank's local incorporation rules are an important part of the triggers that can help to stop bank failure in New Zealand, but also this bill sees the transfer of certain assets and liabilities to Westpac New Zealand, and that is in the nature of enabling Westpac to carry on its activities in New Zealand in a way which the depositors and borrowers out there would find no difference, but would enable them to actually meet the rules and regulations of the banking systems in New Zealand in a way which is suitable and easy for them to run their operations. In that regard, it's a bill which has found favour amongst all parties in this House, because everybody recognises that it's in the best interests of our banking sector, and especially Westpac as one of those banks in that sector, and also it has no effect on the ground in the sense that depositors or lenders would find any difference in the way they conduct their activities going forward. They'll still be dealing with Westpac as a total, in the sense that the Westpac brand is the one that they will be dealing with. I'd like to take this time to thank the big banks that we have had here from Australia that have been instrumental in providing a lot of resources and stability to the New Zealand economy over the last few years. These have been difficult times around the world, and especially the banking sector has been under tremendous pressure. And if we had been a country that had to experience bank failures of the size that many other countries have had to experience, then I'm sure that the pain that the New Zealand taxpayer and the New Zealand economy has had to face in the past year or two would have been much greater. So the good management and resilience of those banks and the support of their Australian colleagues has been instrumental in helping New Zealand get through this recession as quickly and as painlessly as possible. So I think a point of gratitude needs to go to those banks for the way that they have managed themselves and how our system of rules and regulations has stood up in this period of time. Also, the banks are very important in the sense that they do make a contribution to our communities as well. But this bill is something that parties will support, as it is partly a formality in the sense of providing the opportunity for Westpac to engage in its operations, but under the rules and regulations that would make it easier to do so when it gets to the size that it has. So I recommend this bill to the House.
Call Raymond Ho.
Thank you, Mr.